Hey guys, hope you're doing well. In this video I want to give you guys an update on my Jungle Aquascape aquarium. This aquarium has now been set up for about 22 months now, which makes it a really mature aquascape. Today I'll be doing a little bit of maintenance on the aquarium. You can see the red roof floaters on the surface of the water completely taking over the tank. Since there's so much of this plant floating on top of the water, it's going to block a little bit of light for the plants. So I think it's time to thin out this layer just so the plants can get a little bit more light. Just before I start thinning out this layer of red root floaters, I want to show you guys how densely this plant has grown. In about 2 months this plant has grown so densely it's about 2 inches thick. You might be able to see that some of the leaves are starting to turn red too. As the layer of plant matter starts to get thicker, it starts to get closer to the light source. The more light this plant receives, the more likely it will turn red. Usually when the plant starts to turn red, it will also produce little flowers too. Firstly, I'm going to remove all the red root floaters out of the aquarium. This is just going to make it easier for me to do maintenance on the tank. You can see as I start removing the plant from the aquarium, the whole tank's getting a lot brighter now. This just shows you how much floating plants can reduce the amount of light in your aquarium. I mentioned before in some previous videos I was having some problem with green spot algae. Since the green spot algae reduced the amount of light in the aquarium, it also reduced the amount of green spot algae growing too. Right now I don't really have a lot of algae problems, and I think that's down to the floating plants, so I'm really happy about that. Now there's a little bit more space in the aquarium, it's time to clean the Helianthine green carpet. I'm using a turkey baser with a little bit of tubing to clean the carpet. The turkey baser creates a little bit of agitation which just displaces any debris and trash trapped in the Helianthine green carpet. I like to do this once every few months. As you can see, a lot of dirt and fish waste gets trapped in the carpet. The more of this I can remove from the aquarium, the better the water quality is going to be. There will be less waste breaking down in the water column. I'm going to move on to trimming the plants now. The crypts haven't really grown too tall recently. I'm just going to be removing any leaves that have any algae on them. Luckily there isn't too many leaves with algae growth on them. It seems like the red root floaters have done a really good job at reducing the lighting in this tank, which in turn has reduced the amount of algae growing on the leaves of the plants. Since crypts are quite slow growing plants, they are very prone to algae. This is because the algae grows faster, which makes it outcompete the crypts for nutrients. I'm just going to give the glass a quick clean. I always use this algae razor blade scraper to clean the glass of my fish tanks. It makes cleaning algae off the glass easy work. Today there wasn't really too much algae growth on the glass. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the floating plants have reduced the amount of light in this aquarium. This is what kept the algae growth at a minimum, especially the green spot algae. I'm going to use a toothbrush to clean any finer bits of dirt or algae I missed in the glass. There was a little bit of mineral build-up on the side of the glass. I think if I use a razor blade scraper, the minerals will end up scratching the glass. But since the toothbrush has soft bristles, it makes cleaning the mineral deposits a lot easier. That's most of the maintenance now done. I'm going to start to fill the aquarium back up with fresh clean water. You should always try and make sure the water is at least room temperature. This will help to prevent a temperature shock on your fish and shrimp in your aquarium. In today's maintenance session we did about a 35% water change. I aim to do a water change about once every 2 weeks. Because this is a low energy setup, I can kind of get away with doing less water changes less frequently. Now that the tank's now filled back up with water, I'm just going to use a net to remove any plant matter that's floated up to the top of the water. It's best to remove as much of this as you can, as you don't want it to rot away in your water. With any plant matter now removed from the surface of the water, it's time to re-add the floating plants back to the aquarium. I only want to create a small layer of red root floaters. This plant can grow really quickly, so I need to stay on top of it. I don't want it to block too much light reaching all the other plants in the aquarium. If the crypts don't get enough light, they can start to melt, and sometimes this can make it really difficult for the plant to recover afterwards. In a few weeks time these red root floaters will probably take over the surface of the water again, so I'm going to need to keep an eye on this. As you can see here, I haven't really added too many of the red root floaters back to the aquarium. This is a small handful from the original amount that I took out earlier. There is a little bit of a gentle flow in the aquarium, so it's nice to see the floating plants just move around the aquarium. It kind of adds another element to the aquascape. It gives you an interesting viewing angle from the top of your aquarium. Now that's pretty much all the maintenance now done. The water's looking a little bit cloudy right now. A lot of debris and trash got kicked up into the water column when I was cleaning the Helianthine green carpet. With the filter now switched back on, in a few hours time the water will get a lot clearer. Overall this has been a really good maintenance session. I've cleared out a lot of the red root floaters, which made the whole aquarium look a lot brighter now. I was also very lucky this week as there wasn't a lot of algae growth. This made maintaining and cleaning the aquarium a lot easier compared to other months. Here's some footage of the aquarium with all the water now cleared up. The water's looking a lot clearer now, which is really nice to see. Overall, for an aquascape that's 22 months old, it's done pretty well. In my opinion, I think the scape really did peak at the 1 year mark. At that stage of the aquascape, the crypts have really good mature growth. Even the Java and Trident in the back corner of the aquarium filled out really well. But sadly, as time went on, I kind of neglected the scape a little bit. This ruined all the great plant growth I was getting. So in my next aquascape, I'm going to try my best to avoid this from happening again. Another thing I noticed which might be interesting to some people is that the manzanita wood I had in this aquarium started to rot away. I think because I had relatively thin pieces, it made it easier to rot away. Since wood is organic, it's a natural process it will go through. So if you guys do decide to use manzanita wood, I recommend you pick thicker branches so it lasts longer. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this update video on my Jungle Aquascape aquarium. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to see more.